Kings get caught. Here's a 2-on-1. Down the right wing side. Here's Glenn Anderson. His pass broken up. And behind the play, we've got a fight breaking out, and play is halted. Got Messier in a scrap with McSorley. And two former teammates, McSorley just pounding away at Messier, and then Messier wrestled him down. Now they get back up again. This is back behind the Oiler net.
Bob, the Oilers had a 2-on-1 because Granato was tripped up trying to come back. At 1:35, they were meeting along the near boards. McSorley and Messier, a few words, and then they dropped the gloves. Messier, a very strong player, and he did a pretty good job at tying up McSorley, but McSorley finally did get his right hand free towards the end of that scrap. And 2-1 on the punch stat meter.
Picked up there and sent back to Ellick on the left side. Ellick moving in, up the middle to Taylor. He shoots, and a save off the glove of Ranford. Tipped it over the net. Puck is picked up by the Kings' Luke Robitaille. Robitaille along the right wing boards, and now Taylor is in a scrap in the Oilers zone. And they were going to break him up, and now they let him go, and Taylor wrestles one of the Oilers down to the ice. Well, Nick, I'm getting the feeling that we talked about maybe these teams meeting in the playoffs, and certainly you kind of get that feeling right now that one team or the other is out to show some superiority. Really scrapping here. Ellick centered it over to Taylor, and Taylor got a shot that was deflected up over the net, and then Taylor ran into Muni, and then they started into the scrap, and Taylor got an elbow in, and Muni cuffed him from behind and pushed him, and they were going to break it up, and then thought better of it and let him go. Craig Muni, and the puck comes out of the right point. Oilers hold it in again. Now along the right wing boards. Boy, still a lot of bodies flying out there. Now the puck is cleared out to center, and a hard check along the boards, and look out, Tonelli comes over.
Buchberger is there for the Oilers. Tonelli and Buchberger. Kruzhelnyski really popped Lamb inside the blue line.
Over to Curry, left side. Kings are back at full strength. Puck comes out to center ice. Kruzhelnyski chasing it down. In front alone. He shoots. He scores! Oilers moving from our left to our right, trailing 1-0 to the Kings. Kings goal by Mike Kruzhelnyski. Here down the right wing side, Martin Jelena checked hard into the boards by Praisler on the right side. Now the Oilers with it. In front, shot saved by Scott at point blank. He makes the save on Joe Murphy.
Murphy walking out from the corner. Scott with a good save, controlled the loose puck before Murphy could get his own rebound. And again, the players meet after the whistle, pushing and shoving, and it looks like the linesmen are going to have their hands full tonight, trying to beat him to the outside. But the puck is loose in the corner. McTavish is tied up.
Now to Lowe. Now it's center ice. Lowe still with it. Moves it on the left side to Messier into the Kings zone. He drops it back left side. Shot by Henderson. Deflected up out of play. And now McSorley gets into another scrap.
Dave Brown, and Brown gets tackled from behind by Mike Allison. But right at the whistle, again, players coming together, pushing and shoving. And this time it looked like Brown wanted to go with McSorley, but he never got the opportunity as he was held up from behind and eventually tackled from behind before the game started, but already a fighting major. Shot was taken, deflected out of play, and then McSorley comes in and bumps Brown right there. But it looked like Brown made the first move, but then he was grabbed from behind by Allison and tackled away from McSorley.
Both teams are shorthanded, and the Kings will get Marty McSorley out of the penalty box in 18 seconds and have the power play. Here's Mark Lamb. Lamb checked by Ellick right in front of the King bench. Puck comes down into the King zone, and back to get it is Benning. Benning drops it off on the left side. Halkita's ahead to center to Sandstrom. Oilers zone. He shoots. He scores! Now off the draw, the puck at the right point of the King zone, and Kelly Buchberger sends it out, and look out, McSorley drops his stick, and now he wants to go with Buchberger. Play continues now. Now McSorley grabs his stick. He doesn't have a glove on. Buchberger's trying to get his equipment at center ice, and the Kings bring it up to the red line. Here's Kudelski over to Casper. Casper down the left side. He gets met with a stiff check by Bukaboom. Oilers in their own zone. They give it away to McSorley. Right point. He shoots, and it's scooped up in the glove by Ranford, and now Steve Smith comes in and grabs one of the Kings.
And down low, Bukaboom is pushing and shoving with Mike Allison. In that exchange before, Allison getting knocked down by Bukaboom now. And those two players are the main combatants this time around. But Bukaboom dropped both of his gloves in his stick. McSorley his right glove in his stick. They were going to go, but then they decided, well, let's get back in the play.
So they were picking up sticks and gloves while the play was continuing.
Got to be a full moon tonight. Has to be.
Messier along the right wing boards in the circle, tipped off his stick up the middle. Tikkanen shoots, deflected off the glass. 38 seconds left to go in the power play for the Oilers, and we've got a penalty coming up.
Preisler is hurt. Preisler is hurt. I don't know if he is the player that was interfered with or high stick leading to the penalty. Elbowing is the initial call. Messier with Preisler right in front of the net. Watch the elbow by Messier. The action right there. Right elbow by Messier, and down goes Preisler, but Messier didn't get away with it.
The Oilers break it up, and they move it quickly on the right side. Here's Joe Murphy into the Kings zone, trying to get around Gretzky. Murphy cutting in, he shoots, and a save by Scott. And Murphy goes hard into the goal post and dislodges the net, and he's injured, I believe. Let's see, he's slow getting up.
So Murphy took advantage of that, tried to chip it in, and then he was bumped a couple of times, and when he bumped Waters, and I don't think that was Waters' intention because he was going down. But let's watch in the play. Waters, number 5, is trying to tie up another Oiler, and then Waters just gets a piece of Murphy who goes over the top of Scott, and looks like his hip, the right side of his midsection, hit that right post.
2-0 Kings. Across the King line, offside Edmonton at the King blue line.
Watch Waters and Simpson. I think Waters forced that offside by doing a little bumping and extra holding.
Oilers have 12 seconds to go on the power play. They drive it into the King zone. Here's Charlie Huddy in deep. Huddy sends it behind the net to Simpson. Simpson's pass broken up behind the net by Halkitis. Kings with it. They are going to be back at full strength right now. Kings have killed the penalty. Down the left side into the Oilers zone is Sandstrom. Sandstrom into the corner. He gets checked and tripped there by Huddy, who took his feet out as the puck rolls toward the net. Gets scooped up by the goaltender Ranford. 2-0 Kings. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network. He gets it to Messier. Messier tied up by Waters. Messier down to one knee. Waters on his back. And the whistle blows, and a check right of the whistle by Simpson.
All the players will come in again. The 2 defensemen. The faceoff will come outside the attacking zone. Allison is in there. Jeff Smith. And now Casper and Simpson pushing and shoving. Let's watch those two. Now Waters and Simpson pushing and shoving. Curry is in there. Allison has had his helmet stripped. Now Preisler tackles one of the Oilers. Who did he tackle? Jeff Smith.
Jeff Smith. So tempers flare once again with 4:17 to go in the second period.
Well, you've got to like the enthusiasm that some of the players that you really wouldn't have counted on a few weeks ago have shown for the Kings as the Oilers bench looks on. Preisler getting a chance to play recently. Bukestad and Halkitis being recalled. Resident tough guys like McSorley, who's on the bench now. Messier and Waters want to go.
And Waters is grabbed by Randy Minton and pulled away. And now Messier being held by Ryan Bozak, the other linesman, and the referee.
Bob, I talked a few moments ago about Waters being a pretty good agitator over the years. And this is exactly what you want to do with a guy like Messier. The Kings have Messier off his game and in the penalty box a lot tonight. It looks like he's going to draw his 3rd penalty. He's been involved in a fight, a penalty also late in the first period, and now a little scrap with Waters. Waters is tying up Messier right there, dumping him to the ice, grabbing a hold of the back of Messier's jersey. Then in comes Curry with a little headlock. Then the heavy hit, Simpson on Waters. Then Casper rides Simpson into the boards. Then Preisler is going to come out of nowhere along with Allison.
You know, the weird thing about this, Nick, is a lot of guys that you've mentioned are normally not in that type of activity. Rebound off the boards. Oilers with it, move it around the boards, but Gretzky intercepts. Gretzky on the right wing side. Here's Gretzky with it. Sends it into Tonelli, and he scores!
3-0 Kings. Gretzky picks up an assist. His second assist and point of the game. And Duchesne assists as well. 3-0 Kings.
Now another fight. Dave Brown and Halkitis. Halkitis' helmet is knocked off, and Brown knocks him down to the ice. And I will see what the penalties are here as Brown goes after Halkitis. But the Kings have a 3-0 lead. They had the 3-0 lead against Vancouver, remember, and let it get away. And they got a real tongue lashing the other day from the coaches at practice. Halkitis has being ushered over toward the exit right now. And he gets the red line and drives it back behind the King net. Ron Scott cuts it off there, passes around the boards. Steve Smith pinches in to hold it in, and there's a penalty against the Oilers. Stupid penalty by Smith. He reached out and pulled Duchesne down by the jersey, and they saw him.
And you know, everybody, now somebody threw a right at Bookberger, and here we go again. Let's see.
Well, we've got Steve Smith in there with Benning.
And Benning is a guy that normally doesn't get involved in something like this, but I tell you, it's working for the Kings here tonight. It's worked in the past against Edmonton. Is now Benning and Steve Smith square off. Really kind of a mismatch. Smith bigger and heavier.
And they still battle along the board. Smith trying to get some right hands in, and Benning trying to tie him up and get an elbow in, and now everybody comes crashing in again.
Well, I think they sense that Benning is losing the battle. Now Bookberger is coming in. Gretzky is out there being held from behind by one of the Oilers. Steve Smith. Smith was just in it with Benning, wasn't he? Or is that Bookeboom?
Steve Duchesne is pushed up against the boards now.
Yeah, it's Bookeboom and Gretzky because Smith was working over Benning. Sandstrom has Anderson.
Thomas Sandstrom is in there, as you say, and everything may be calming down here. I don't know. Benning is separated. Now we've still got Duchesne tied up.
Benning leaving the ice surface. He'll hang around. Gretzky holding off, or being held off by Bookeboom as Smith is. That's the problem. The linesman trying to get Smith off the ice, but he doesn't want to go. Randy Mitten is trying to push Steve Smith off the ice. And Bookeboom is just keeping Gretzky pinned on the ice as the two of them get up.
Well, I would imagine, Nick, it's about time for a couple of game misconducts or something here for Morel to get control of this. See what he's going to call.
Now, I note Granato is out there. One of the Kings is hurt. I note, was Granato out there with Sandstrom, Gretzky, Benning, and Duchesne? Is this Sandstrom?
It's one of the Kings face down on the ice, and Peter Demers, the King trainer, is out and putting some gauze. It's Thomas Sandstrom, number 7.
Here's Glenn Anderson with Thomas Sandstrom. Anderson through left hand, and there's Gretzky in with Anderson. Bookeboom still hanging on to Gretzky. Pete Demers was hit with a stick this morning in practice, and he was cut.
It was Gretzky, Sandstrom, and Granato, and Sandstrom still in a lot of discomfort. Pete Demers was working on the right side of Sandstrom's face. He is apparently cut and is skating off with help from the trainer, Pete Demers.
Wayne Gretzky out on the ice, but Thomas Sandstrom, who Nick said was injured in that fight, is going to be taken to the hospital for precautionary measures. We understand he has a cut above and below his right eye, and they're going to send him over to the hospital to take a look at it.
You know, the 10-minute match is so rare these days. Again, the difference is, and again, it's discretionary on the part of the officials. A 5-minute match is attempt to injure. A 10-minute is deliberate injury. So obviously that's what they felt Anderson did.
Down, but Gretzky back together for the King. Gretzky moves it up to the King blue line to Kudelski. He's checked hard from behind by Simpson. But now back out to center ice. Oilers with it. Here's Huddy across the King line. Checked hard, and the glass is broken. Duchesne checked Huddy into the glass and knocked the pane of glass right out of the metal braces. And it didn't break, but they're going to have to replace it and put it back in the track.
What else will we see tonight that we haven't seen in a long time?
Loose puck, Oilers with it. Can they clear it? A check thrown on the right wing boards by Bukestad. Gretzky tried to dig it out. He did. He got it to Benning. Benning throws it down the right corner. Oilers zone. Gretzky with it. Gretzky pulls up. He got checked. Here's Taylor in deep. He shoots and a save by Ranford. Rebound save. Back to the blue line to Benning. He shoots. Saved by Ranford. And it just rolled off and wide of the goalpost. And now Ranford dives on the loose puck and he hangs on. Now Lamb in for the Oilers. He tried to clear it. He can't. It's held into the right point by the Kings. Waters and taken by Allison. Allison throws it in deep in the Oilers zone, and now we're going to get Granato with a penalty here. Granato skated by and knocked the goaltender Ranford down.
And Lamb came over and took Granato out as Ranford made a move towards Granato.
Now here we go. Allison getting into a little scrap over along the boards. Bukaboom comes in and throws another punch.
Now, look at this Bukaboom character.
He's throwing punch after punch at Allison.
No, I think it was Granato. It was Granato.
Okay. And Granato was along the boards. Yeah, Allison is still on his skates. Waters is down again.
Now Tikkanen is hitting anybody that's in a white and black jersey.
Now
Buchberger from behind on Allison.
He's hitting everybody. He throws a right at Fraser. Oh, Fraser!
Peter, there you go.
Right hand.
Welcome to the NHL, Peter. There you go, buddy.
That looked like a great right hand by Fraser.
Now Brown hits Fraser from behind. And here comes Waters and Brown. Of course, you know why Brown is out there.
Brown down on one knee and trying to hold Waters down.
Well, they had the tough guys out there, Buchberger, along with Bukaboom, Brown, and kind of knew this would develop.
And finally, Randy Mitten, the linesman, wrestles Buchberger down.
Granato, the first player to be ushered to the penalty box. Bukaboom being ushered off the ice by Randy Mitten.
Well, through all of this, the Kings have a 3-0 lead, and Waters is up. And Brown being held by a linesman, Ryan Bozak, and off the ice goes Jeff Bukaboom. Now Brown being ushered into the penalty box, and so is Waters.
Well, you know the game's going to continue because we don't have any more intermissions left to clean the ice surface and calm the players down.
We haven't seen that tonight. Another
Buchberger's still going at it with Mike Allison.
Now, it's about time Buchberger got kicked out of the game. So they've separated Buchberger and Allison.
Granato is going to get the original penalty for taking the feet out from the goaltender. Now watch Bukaboom right there. I think he got more of Granato's helmet than his face, but that stunned Granato. Then Brown and Waters and Bukaboom just reaching around and suckering Granato.
So in the scrap that recently took place, Fraser blocked a right hand, and he came back. Oh, I'll tell you, he connected with one of the best rights in a long time as he hit Kelly Buchberger, and Buchberger wonders where he is right now. Way to go, Peter. He finally looked like he'd had enough, Nick, you know?
Yeah. Well, it was a situation where Fraser had to get involved somehow. The Oilers were taking advantage of Fraser not really getting involved early, and then Fraser just came through and right to the jaw. I tell you, Tyson or good old Buster, they would have appreciated that one.
As the Oilers all sit on the bench and look around toward the stands because some idiot is up there taunting them, and I think they may be asking him to leave right now.
The Oilers are doing what they should do, just to ignore him.
Dave Brown heading down, wearing the second number that he's worn tonight. He started out with 37, no name on his back. All right, look what's happening. We're playing again with 11:20 to go in the third period. Here's Peter Klima in the King zone. Klima pulls it in deep, he shoots, he scores! Up to Todd Ellick. Here's Ellick at the King blue line. 1:04 to go in the power play. Ellick into the other zone. Ellick checked and knocked down with a hard check, and he's hurt. Ellick is hurt, and out comes Peter Demers. Ellick had a good head of steam, and he got knocked flying up in the air and down to the ice, and he's flat on his back in the Oilers zone.
And Morrell called the play immediately, and if he doesn't, the Oilers have a 2-on-1 rush from the red line in, but Ellick got caught as he tried to beat one of the Oilers right inside the blue line. Ellick carrying the puck through center. He had speed. He works with it at the blue line, is cutting to his left, and then hip checking him down low was Muni, and he goes up and over, head over heels, and hits the back of his head on the ice and the back of his shoulder.
Boy, right there is the reason you wear a helmet.
Exactly right.
Wow. If he hadn't had that helmet on, who knows? It looked like it would have been a serious injury. Right down on the back of his head.
Well, we saw Ron Duguay take a tumble like that. It was early last year. Hit his head in a similar fashion. Had a concussion, missed a couple of games, and came back with a helmet.
As the puck taken at center ice now by Kruzhelnyski. Kruzhelnyski back to Benning, but offside as Benning brought it across the Oiler line. Now Benning and Muni whack at one another.
Kings record total penalties in one game. A little whacking with a stick. Well, Kudelski handling the puck. A lot of traffic on the far boards. Chasing him is Simpson. Hits him. And then Kudelski right there comes up with a right in front of the referees.
Kings up 3-1. Here's Klima to center. Peter Klima's got the Oiler goal tonight. Right wing. He shoots. He scores!
So Klima with both goals here in the period. So Kudelski with that rough on Simpson at center ice. And the Oilers take advantage of it. Now we got to fight Ellick and Lamb, I think.
Yeah, Ellick and Lamb, and they each get a couple of punches in, and then Ellick wrestles Lamb down to the ice. Now the Oilers across the line. It's held in by Curry, top of the slot. He is knocked down, boy, by Benning, and Curry's hurt. I thought Benning got his stick up high and he got away with something, I think, and now they're going to take a run at Benning. It looked to me, at first looked like Benning got his stick up high and cross-checked Curry, and there was no penalty call.
We're going to look at it again. Curry trying to control the bouncing puck, can't find the handle, turned around, and in comes Benning, cross-checks him on the back of the helmet. Curry just turned his head, and down went Jari Curry.
Yeah, there's no doubt that that should have been cross-checking on Benning, and he's leaving now.
So he might have gotten 5 minutes.
He did.
Believe the way this thing is.
5-minute danger for cross-checking and an automatic game misconduct.
1:43 to go in the third. 3-2 Kings. Oilers on the power play. Chrysler tried to break it up, couldn't do it. Pass to Messier. He shoots, saved by Scott, and he covers up in the crease. 49 seconds to go, third period. Off the drop, Kruzhelnyski to McSorley, around to Gretzky. Gretzky to center ice for the empty net. He scores! Now the Oilers still with a power play. The goaltender Ranford is back in. 30 seconds to go in regulation. Here's McTavish, and behind the play we've got another fight breaking out, and the goaltender Ranford is in this one. Now everybody on the ice piling back into the Oilers zone. So I guess this is somewhat of a fitting climax to this game. It's been this way all night long. Ranford, the goaltender of the Oilers, is in the bottom of that pile somewhere. It's back in the Oilers zone along the boards. McSorley is being pulled away. Finally, Ranford, the goaltender, is back up, and now here's Tikkanen trying to get at McSorley from behind. And McSorley throwing some punches, and Tikkanen punching him. And now Ron Scott, the King goaltender, gets into it. And the crowd roars. They're still grabbing one another along the boards. Steve Kasper there for the Kings. McSorley was being double-teamed and getting hit from in front and behind. Now Tikkanen has a hold of the King goaltender, Ron Scott. Scott hanging on to Tikkanen's jersey. Now McSorley still in there, bent over. Tikkanen was whacking him from behind. I didn't see who was hitting him from in front. Might have been Steve Smith, I don't know. Now Bob Halkitis has a hold of Kevin Lowe. We've got 26 seconds left in regulation. It's been this way all night long. And in between, they played some hockey, and the Oilers got back in the game. But Gretzky scored into the empty net to give the Kings a 4-2 lead, and now Steve Smith and McSorley still try to get at one another, and it's taken all three of the officials to get in between them. Smith is trying to get loose, and meanwhile the two goaltenders, Ranford, who was in the scrap, he's back, and Ron Scott is over there talking with him. Now we've got another pile up as Simpson is in there, and now Bob Halkitis comes in for the Kings. Kevin Lowe is there. There are going to be some players, I believe, who are going to sit out a few games after this, when the league takes a look at some of these penalties. Halkitis is still rolling around. Looks like the state high school wrestling finals out there. Meanwhile, on the bench, some of the other players look on, and McSorley still trying to get loose, and now McSorley throwing more punches, and Simpson is there, and Steve Smith for the Oilers, number 5, and every time they seem to get things cooled down, it starts up again. Meanwhile, the goaltenders talk to one another. Halkitis and Lowe hanging on. They've all got to get tired pretty soon and say, let's get the last 26 seconds of this game over with. Kings have a 4-2 lead. Now Kudelski is still down on top of one of the Oilers, and look out now, McSorley trying to get at Smith again, and Smith throwing some right hands at McSorley. McSorley is bent over, and Smith hanging on to his shoulders. Now Randy Mitten, the linesman, is pushing Tikkanen out of the way, and Tikkanen's getting upset. Now they're trying to separate McSorley and Smith again. On our punch stat for the game, Kings 1,021 and the Oilers 997. Great job by the guy keeping track of that. Now McSorley is going off the ice. Fans applauding for Marty. Halkitis is going to go off. And again, the cleanup will continue. 26 seconds left to go, third period. That game in 1979 at Philadelphia, as Nick mentioned before, Randy Holt with 1 minor, 3 majors, and 5 misconducts. 67 penalty minutes to Randy Holt by himself was a record that night. Here are the announcements on the penalties.
To number 4, Kevin Lowe, 2 minutes for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct. To number 5, Steve Smith, 5 minutes for fighting and a game misconduct. To number 10, Esa Tikkanen, 2 minutes for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct. To number 18, Craig Simpson, 2 minutes for roughing, a 10-minute misconduct, and a game misconduct. To number 30, Bill Ranford, 2 minutes for leaving the crease, and a 10-minute game misconduct as third man into an altercation. Los Angeles penalties. To number 1, Ron Scott, 2 minutes for leaving his crease. To number 22, Bob Halkitis, 2 minutes for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct. To number 33, Marty McSorley, a double major for fighting and a double game misconduct. And to number 37, Bob Kudelski, 2 minutes for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct. Time of the penalties, 19:34.
The Kings win it over the Edmonton Oilers tonight, 4-2. We'll be right back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.